Welcome to the Swift Half, your weekly session of chat from the UKOCR and adventure running scene. Each week, pub landlord Alan and our favourite regular Ian discuss races, runners and anything else that comes to mind. So pull up a pew, pour yourself a drink and join us for the Swift Half.
You're listening to the fifth most popular podcast for people who know that OCR is the illegitimate love child of steeplechase and It's a Knockout.
Hey, my friend. Welcome to a virtual Swift Half because I'm on holiday.
You are indeed. Listener, if you could only see what I could see. I never had Alan pegged to be a nudist, but there he is. He's in a colony.
These camps, mate, they're absolutely brilliant. These new camps out in the middle of nowhere, just lots of fields. It's heaven, mate.
And with you being how you are, you get, well, the whole place to yourself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everyone just vanishes, mate, when I pull up.
Listen, I should confirm Alan is not at a nudist camp. He is at a regular camp, I think.
Yeah, I am at a regular camp. Yeah, I'm in a place called Lebbeston, which is in between Scarborough and Bridlington. So
you're on the East Coast?
East Coast, yeah. Lovely walking. No, it's in Yorkshire. It's still in Yorkshire. It's in East Yorkshire still.
Oh, East Yorkshire. So you've gone past Hull?
Yes, gone past Hull.
So
just a bit
eventually,
north. Just a bit north.
When you get home, it'll be you've gone to Hull and back, yeah?
Yeah, I've been to Hull and back, that's it.
Did you get there? Did you approach Hull from a 62 or did you take Humber Bridge?
No, we came a bit further north than that, went up through York. A64, I want to call it. A64, and then lots of little back roads and went down so it's so back. You know, I live in a town centre. I know you live near Manchester as well. So we're used to like nice, beautiful roads and things like that. I come up here, it's going like backwards in time a little bit. The roads are not smooth. They're up and they're down. They're not wide enough to take two cars, never mind one that's towing a caravan. I went down a street, and what street have you ever been down that says no caravans allowed?
Probably none. Although I think my town just says no caravans allowed, but that's nothing to do with the roads. It's just general snootiness, I guess.
Well, I think that's what this was, because I couldn't turn around, so I had to go down and see why I couldn't go, and I thought I was all right. Actually, no, a nice neighbour came out as I was trying to reverse up this street, because I'd already made the turn, and he was like literally 100 yards down this road. He went, no caravans past this point, but then there was nowhere to turn. So I was like, right. So I'm reversing a caravan up the street, and a guy pulled up and he went, oh, you're all right, mate. Caravans, you not want to back up because of caravans? And I went, yeah. He went, it's all right. We just don't want to let caravans through the village because there's a bridge down bottom. Just do slowly. That were all. So I was expecting this humpback bridge, so maybe bottomed it out, but it was just a normal bridge. They just obviously didn't want caravans down.
So let me get this straight. You're from Yorkshire.
Yeah.
For most people, Yorkshire is backwards in time.
Yeah.
And you're telling me there's a place in Yorkshire that is more backwards in time than regular Yorkshire?
Very much so. Very much so. And another story, this is how backwards in time it is. Do you know when you're crossing train tracks? Have you been across a level crossing? So the road and the train tracks on the same level, and there's barriers that come down.
Yes, I have, and they're all electronic. It's great. You can just see the train passing, and they work really efficiently. We've got one in Hale.
Right. Well, today on my morning run, I'm coming up to a barrier crossing to run across this railway line, and the gates were closed, and there's a car parked at the other side. So I'm thinking, oh, gates are closed. I've got to wait. And then all of a sudden, a woman comes running out. Well, not running out. She came out of this signal box that was side of the train track and manually unlocked the gates and opened them so cars and myself could go past.
I remember that. Listener, you might recall I went to university in Hull, and I think I might have remembered doing that. You had to ring a bell, if I remember.
That's it. Yeah, there's a sign, please ring this bell for gates opening.
Well, I presume that was 20 years ago. Have you not changed?
No, mate. I was like absolutely shocked. I was like, no way. This can't be happening in the 21st century.
Do they still employ them people to go around and put out these street lights?
I can't. Yeah, that would be like really backwards. Mind you, this is backwards in time. I don't get it, Ian. I don't get it.
American listeners, if you've ever watched A Muppet's Christmas Carol, it sounds like it's very similar to that, but a little bit more out of date.
It is really out of date around here. It's and the pubs as well. The pubs just serve. They don't serve beer properly. You know, it's literally you get Tetley's or lager. And I said, "What lager it is?" He went, "Lager." Yeah, but what lager is it? Lager. Okay.
And the worst thing is you give them over a tenner and they give you shillings back.
Yeah. I've actually found a good pub around here that sells me, and I've been out tonight for tea to it. It's called the Tow Bar. I'll give it its name, Tow Bar, just outside Caton Bay. And they do Beavertown neck oil. You can't beat a pint of Beavertown.
That's a good beer. I think I've either drank it on the shore or I've drank it with people from the shore. Either or, definitely had that. So it's called the Tow Bar. What's the spelling of that?
TOWBAR, as in Tow Bar, because the caravan site. It's next to a caravan site.
I was presuming it might be a little bit more seedy.
TOE, like a bar running through it, as in like a bar through your eyebrow.
Ear bar? A TOE bar. So it's one where, I'm going to date myself, a certain Tory politician would love to have gone there back in the day, you know? Anyway, there's probably about 3 people who would get that joke. So should we move on to, if people haven't turned off already, should we move on with the show?
Let's move on with the show. What are you drinking? You already told you what I've had a drink of, but what are you drinking tonight, Ian?
Well, what are you actually drinking here? I know you've had a neck oil earlier, but what are you currently drinking?
It was Tough Mudder Scotland this weekend. So in honour of Tough Mudder Scotland, I've gone for a Brewdog Lost Lager, Planet's first lager.
Well, it was like the 7th that they made, but anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, nice pint. I like it. So
I am going for a Lost AF.
Oh no, we're both on the Lost beer tonight.
We really are. I really like Lost AF compared to Lost Lager. Much, much better.
Yeah, I was drinking AF the other week, but we're not going to talk about that. I was finishing work early, and rather than go straight home, I went to the pub and decided I had to do a little bit of work still. So I had 2 pints of alcohol-free lager, which is not like me going to a pub and drinking alcohol-free.
Yeah, and which alcohol-free lager was it?
I couldn't even tell you. It was that popular, but it was actually on draft. It was alcohol-free on draft. I wanted to turn around and say it was a vocation. It was a vocation one, but I couldn't tell you what it was called. What beer it was called.
By Yorkshire standards, does that mean it was a 3.5%?
No, it was 0.05, literally 0.05 on draft. So
that's impressive. I've not really seen draft AF outside of Brewdog, who always have one on tap, which is nice. We mentioned Tough Mudder there, Alan. Should we go straight into Tough Mudder Scotland?
Well, it was there, wasn't it? Tough Mudder Scotland this weekend. The Midges Strike Back.
I believe that was a subtitle they were going with. It was a glorious weekend. Unfortunately, neither me nor you could make it this particular weekend, but we have heard from lots of our friends.
We certainly have. I've heard from lots of our friends who were taking part in the Après Mud, forgetting about the actual race, but the Après Mud seemed to be the talking point.
I'm surprised any of them can remember it.
I just saw the pictures. That was the one for me. I just saw the pictures.
It looked like a fun time. They had, I want to say, beer pong with Brewdog. Fair play to Brewdog, by the way, for helping and going all in on it. You know, being an actual partner as opposed to and supplying stuff like the beer pong apparatus. Is that the correct way of saying it?
Yeah, I think that's probably the right way of saying it. I can't think of any other way to say it, but yes, which was the big, massive. Do you think they kept beer in that through the day and then used them in the evening for beer pong?
Maybe. I'm not sure. You got me thinking now. I guess we could have.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else. To me, that was what they were. They look like the Red Bull tubs that you get at IROCs and festivals and things like that. And I'm sure that people must have been using them they must have been using them to put the beer in and then maybe use them as beer pong afterwards. Dual purpose.
That makes a lot of sense. And it means you're not really carrying a lot of excess weight for no reason, because although they probably light, I can imagine they're quite bulky.
Yeah. Oh, They looked quite big. I saw one of Martin picking one up, and it didn't look like he was picking up anything big. So I wonder if it was inflatable as well.
That would make sense. Yeah. Listener, let us know. From what we hear, it was a roaring success. Once again, I believe Tough Mudder were a little generous when it came to the mileage markers.
Yeah, I've heard this as well, that really 10 miles wasn't really 10 miles, was it? Was it about 11.5?
Something like that. But you're getting more bang for your buck, which is great if you're not running Infinity, I guess.
Yeah, if you're not running Infinity. Talking of Infinity, it was part of the Scottish OCR series, wasn't it?
It was, and I was curious as to how that would work, because Infinity is not a race, but it looks like it did okay. I've got the results up, Alan. Do you want me to go through them?
You've shot me there because I didn't think you would have the results up, so I've actually got them as well. But yeah, you go through them for a change, because these are English names, so I know you'll know them. I know you'll get them.
Oh, I think they'll take exception. There's at least a couple here of Scottish names.
By the way,
in trouble now.
Nope. Yeah.
We had Sandy Pow of, I believe she's of Scottish OCR.
She is.
And
Scott Brown Fitness.
Also Scott Brown Fitness as well. She got 51k. We then had, I'm going to say Sheila George, but if I've got that wrong, I do apologise. She also got 51k, but I presume Sandy got 51k before. And then we had, from Scottish OCR, we had Sancho Martin with 50k, which suggests to me, Alan, that with 51, 51 and 50, maybe they were giving you not 15k, so they were giving you the extra.
It looks like that, doesn't it? It does look like 51k. What would that be? So if you did, what was longer, the 15k though, or the 5ks? Because I heard they were both long.
Sure. Yeah, I think they were both long, but whatever it was, there was a way of doing it to get 51k, there was a way of doing it to get 50k. We know that.
Yeah, true.
On the male side, we had Russell Walsh with an impressive 76k.
That is impressive, and bear in mind, he's won the first 2 races of the Scottish series as well. This is 3 out of 3 now, and 76k. And I know you're going to mention in second place, because I've seen the results myself. Now, the second place, I'm pretty certain he did ETM last year and podiumed.
I think you're right. Second place was Craig McQueen, again from Scott Brown Fitness, with 68k. And then Mark Somerville, also of Scott Brown Fitness, with 67k. So my suspicion is that they were giving the long one, they were crediting it as being 17k, which would explain it, because another 17k on top of the 51k that Sandy gets you 68, whereas another 17 on the 50k gets you 67. Look at that, I can do maths.
Oh yeah, and that makes sense as well, because 51k would be 3 laps, wouldn't it? So 3 17k laps as well.
Your maths is amazing. I never did my 17 times table.
Well, it's just 10s and then 7s, isn't it? It's 3 7s, 21, 3 10s, 30. That's how I work it out.
It's true. And of course, now I'm curious as to what combination you would need to get to 50. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm sure someone will get in touch. This is kind of a thing we should have clarified before the episode, but you're on holiday and it's been a busy work week for me, to be honest.
It's always a busy work week for you at the moment, because you're having that much time off, Ian. I mean, rumour has it that you're not even in this country from Friday onwards.
That's true. And that's probably why I'm a bit, because I'm trying to fit everything in. But enough about me and not being in the country. Should we talk about some of the other things that were happening at Tough Mudder Scotland? So, for example, according to Dan Lister, it was 18k.
Oh, well, that don't make sense then, that. 18, 36, 72k.
Oh, his was 18k because you know what he did?
He ran the penalty loop.
He ran the extra mile.
Yeah, because wasn't there a sign or something that said, "Do you want extra?" And then it wasn't even a penalty loop. It was just like, you can just run an extra mile.
Exactly like Giles promised us on the podcast.
Did they have an obstacle on it?
I believe so, but we've not really done a lot of research for this, have we?
No, because I forgot all about that. I saw it on Dan Lister's post and I was like, I need to ask him about that. And then I forgot all about it. I forgot all about many things this weekend. So, or this week. Yeah, I need to reach out to him and ask him that.
Should we talk about some of the things we do know about, which was camping? Camping was back for Scotland, and I believe it was free, so it was well attended. But maybe as a result of the Apres mud, not everyone had a pleasant night's sleep.
Too much beer, too much fun, too much laughing.
I think a combination of all of that, which, see, it's difficult because, I don't know, Al, I'm going to ask, you don't camp as much as, well, you do camp more than me, but doing Tough Mudder camping, you've only done a couple of times. So
Twice,
what is your view generally on the noise at night?
So I did ETM. You know, I only camped in the morning inwards at ETM. It wasn't so bad. I did Yorkshire one year when they had camping down in that field at the bottom. It's like something to be out of the way. And it was quiet down there. And then when I did camping at Yorkshire last time, when we had to walk miles to the campsite and to the pre-mud, I've got to admit it was quiet as well. However, it's not always like that at campsites because, you know, when we put overload on, we have camping at overload, and it can get a little noisy at times, you know, especially if I'm making people shout out burpees and things like that. It does get noisy. I don't know. Is there a time? I think 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, people have got to respect that then, and they've got to say, right, okay, 12 o'clock, it's ended. And I think most people would. I think if it went to 12 o'clock, if you went to someone and said, look, guys, it's 12 o'clock, guys and girls at 12 o'clock, can we slow it down a bit? I think they would.
It's tough, isn't it? Because drunk people don't often listen to reason.
But this is not drunk as in terms of, I call it a different type of drunk. If you're going camping with friends, it's a different type of drunk than if you're in a pub getting served until 4 o'clock in the morning. It's a different type of drunk. You know, that's most people who do camping and get tipsy and drunk don't tend to be leery, or I've never come across people like that are leery when they're camping.
That's a fair point. And I guess it's just about respecting everyone, isn't it? And say we've only heard from one or two people, and from what we hear, unfortunately, it was newbies, and that's horrible to say that, but it was people who did the Tough Mudder on the Saturday, and then they were leaving on Sunday. They weren't like us people who do it both days. So they were kind of like making the most of, I guess, being young and having nothing to do on a Sunday morning.
I remember at Yorkshire, so the last Yorkshire one last year when I camped there was a group of young lads there, and I mean a group, there was about 20 of them, and they were fetching, every one of them had 2 cases of beer. So you knew they were going to have a good time. But do you know what they did, Ian? They went into the furthest corner away from the rest of the people who were camping, so as not to disturb them through the night. And yeah, I think I got at the toilet about 2 o'clock, and I could still hear them having a bit of fun. But they weren't loud because they were far enough away. That's respect for you when that happens.
Yeah, I think it is about having that respect, isn't it? And in the Yorkshire one, you had that far corner, because I know the camp, maybe that's what Tough Mudder, they have a quiet zone, and unfortunately, from what I understand, quiet zone wasn't respected, but maybe they should have a noisy zone, which is miles away. Not miles away, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, party centre, a party camping, non-party camping. Put a line down middle.
Perfect. Yeah, I think we've just solved the problem, Alan. Well done. Look at us in about 5 minutes. Something I do want to talk about, I want to get your opinion. When we had Giles on here a few weeks ago, he was talking about taking Tough Mudder back to its roots. You know, they were going to start beating you up with barbed wire or nettles or that kind of thing, or at least that's what I got from it.
Very much so. And social media is very much along those lines. I saw a picture the weekend of him filling the water up again, you know, making sure the cage crawl was completely, utterly full. You know, all the pictures you've seen at minute of ice, fire, water, they're all the grit. Grit, I think Giles called it, isn't it?
It's all about the grit. But one thing I saw as well, Alan, was beer pong in the middle of EST.
EST can't have been on at this point. No way. Can no one play beer pong in the middle of EST?
I'm fairly sure it was, because when they went to retrieve the ball, they definitely flinched.
Oh, yeah. That's is that grit, or is that? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy.
It's an interesting one, because that kind of is almost a going back to not what we're trying to get. Well, we are trying to get away from this whole idea of it being a party. Yeah.
I don't think trying to get a party. I think it's trying to get away with it. It's an easy run in. I think I think they can have it tough and party, but from my understanding with Giles, they didn't want it to come across as this is an easy thing, that it's soft. It's anyone can do it. You need to be tough to do it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Actually, it was on our pals Graham Wells' Instagram. So if you don't already follow Graham, it's Graham Wells with a Z. So go and have a look at his. And it is a chap and two ladies playing, or two chaps and two ladies playing beer pong in the middle of EST. So I guess it wasn't an official Tough Mudder Instagram post, but yeah, it did look fun though, Alan. I guess.
You just said it's Graham there. Just it doesn't surprise me if he was one of the two blokes playing it, if I'm honest, or the one who instigated it.
Yeah, he was in charge of EST at that time.
Yeah, exactly. He'll have instigated that. I get that. That's Graham for you. Full on. Let's get everyone playing beer pong. Yeah.
So if you don't already follow, and Alan, we should probably share that when this comes out because it is a fun video.
I will gladly share that. That sounds absolutely funny.
So we're agreed that I'm not sure. I've not watched all the way through yet, but so we kind of agreed that although Tough Mudder is going the gritty way, there is still room for some of the silly stuff.
I think there is, Ian. I think there's. We've got ETM coming up, haven't we? And I mean, I'm going. We're 3 weeks away, less than 3 weeks away now. I think a fortnight away from ETM. I don't want them penalties to be like you've got to do another lap of EST. I want the penalties to be fun. So the event can be hard, but it can also have fun elements in it. And I think that's what they've got to accept because it's not easy. Tough Mudder should never be easy, and they should never have marked it as easy. And that's why I guess they're getting rid of the 5Ks and that because they want it to be for tough people.
That makes sense. And I think Matt B showed me once that previously their marketing was all, it's a summer party. And yeah, it's definitely gritty now in their marketing, isn't it?
Definitely gritty. I also think they've got to get the fun element as the after party and not necessarily the run, the race, whatever you want to, whether they call it a run or a race. Get the fun element as the after party. I think there's room for both. Play hard. Is it run hard, play hard?
Something like that. Absolutely something like that. One final thing about Tough Mudder. We had a few people who hit their 100. And I think we're going to see more and more of this season. Some people special to me are getting their 100s at various points. A very special person's getting it over at Midlands.
Yep.
But you'll notice I didn't use any names there. And that's because how should people celebrate their 100, Alan?
See, this is a tough one, Ian, because what is the 100? Yeah. So to me, what is 100? To me, 100 is I have done 100 original Tough Mudder events. That would be my 100. With some exceptions, okay? Some exceptions is if I go to Manchester and they have one distance, which is 10K, then I do the 10K, I get a headband. That's another Tough Mudder done. If I go somewhere and they have got a 5K option, a 10K option, a 15K option, and I do 5Ks, that's not 5 Tough Mudders in my head. In my head, that's not 5 Tough Mudders. That is 5Ks, equivalent to 25K, so I'll probably give you 2 headbands for that. You can do a 15K and a 10. I
think the official word is, that it's no, if you do a 5K, a 10K, and a 15K in the same day, it's free. But yeah, you're right. And some of the people who are hitting 100 this year, I'm fairly sure that most of theirs are the full thing.
Yeah. And if they are, absolutely brilliant. I think they should be celebrated. I like the idea of Matt, Giles, anyone give him a crown of the metal crown. I think it's something to aim for. But as you said earlier on, we're going to see a lot of people hitting 100 now. Is that going to diminish that crown a little bit? It's going to be 150 the new 100?
I'm not sure. Will 150 be new 100? It's an interest because at one point 25 was a big one, wasn't it? And then 50 became, oh my God, no one can get 50. And no 100. Well, that's quite true. And to answer my own question, I think you should celebrate it however you want to celebrate it. If you want a full brass band playing Sweet Caroline for you, or maybe Oasis, if you really want that. I don't know if brass band can play that, but if you want that, you want Wonderwall, fine, go and have it. If, however, you just want to take the award and you want to celebrate in your own way, then yeah, everything. All power to you.
To some people, it's a big milestone, and I get why they want to celebrate it. To others, they've just done 100 events. I remember, I think about 2014, 2015, I did 55 events in a year. You know, that 55 events, that's a lot. People aim for that now. You know, and it's harder to hit now. I'm not saying 55 Tough Mudders, 55 OCRs is what I did. People strive for that now, but I didn't celebrate it because I was like, I'm just doing OCR racing. I'm just going to the races I want to go to, you know, and I spent a lot of money going around them and things like that. And I know people have done, so I know the Campbells, they did 40 for 40, Colin and Jane, and other people have done that. And you celebrate things as you're right, you celebrate things as you want to celebrate them. If 100 Tough Mudders is your goal, I think, yeah, go all out, celebrate it. Absolutely amazing. If 100 Tough Mudders is not your goal and you've got other goals, then you wouldn't celebrate it as much as someone else, maybe.
No, exactly. So if you're about to hit that 100, decide what you want to do and do it.
Exactly.
Although, Alan, wouldn't it be great if you could now do 55 events? I'm not even sure if there's that many OCRs on the calendar nowadays, which is kind of depressing.
Yeah, you've got to double up. You'd have to double up at the weekends when you can get 2 and 3. You're gonna have to try and get 2 and 3 in. I've done, so when I say 55, I did 55 different OCRs. I actually probably did more in terms of, because I did like pain and suffering, but that's just one OCR. Although it was a full weekend of 3 OCRs, I was going to one event on Saturday and then another event on Sunday for many weeks. And I actually took 2 in one. At one weekend, I took a charity style one, which was in Leeds, and then Total Warrior on the same day.
Gosh, that is commitment. Speaking of commitment,
yep.
Should we have a quick chat about Suffolk Backyard?
Oh, this weekend, Suffolk Backyard. You know, we like good backyard ultra, Ian. It was on this weekend. And I have a good story from the Suffolk Backyard, Ian, of a bit of camaraderie and teamwork. So I'm going to say the word, and we'll try and get his surname right. Oriol Antilosararo, which was from Spain. I think it was about lap 66 or 67. There was 3 of them left in. Him, Hendrik Bouré, and John Stocker. And Hendrik went off. Oriol was in second, and John was in third on the lap. And Oriol fell asleep on the course. And John was struggling at this point, and he actually woke him up on the course, and they ran back together just to get that lap in. And they did get it in as well, so they got it back in time. How was that?
Oh, well done, John, for just taking time out of your own race. Because do you know what yard that happened on? Or are you not sure?
I've got a feeling it was 66. Someone told me the story is on social media. I am doing this off the top of my head. It was about 66.
So 2.5 days in, at that point, anyone who's done a backyard race or the backyard jam knows that at that time, every second starts to count, doesn't it? Because
very much.
It's so easy. So for John to take time out to wake him up, well done to John.
Absolutely amazing. The winner, 82 laps, 82 yards, Ian, Hendrik Bouré from Germany.
Well done to Henrik. And who was the assist?
Oriol.
Well done.
Second. Yeah. Absolutely amazing.
If I remember, John has won it previous, I want to say, or
yeah,
right?
I don't know if he won it or if he was second to Matt when they do 72 yards when they broke the record, or 74 yards when they broke the record when it was the record.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he was the assist. I thought, isn't that crazy? That happened not too long ago, and now it's like, but Henrik got over 80 and it barely registers a ripple.
Yeah. Is the record 84? Someone's going to tell me this. I've got the record 84 in my head at this moment in time. But the record's only there if you've got someone who's willing to go that distance with you at the same time, isn't it?
That's true. And that's quite kind of like, and this wasn't an advert for Farmyard Jam, but that's kind of why I liked your way of doing it with teams and with individuals, because when you eventually did get down to one solo runner, didn't you, on the 48 hours,
Yeah.
But because there was a team with him, he could carry on for as long as he needed to.
As long as he wanted. Whenever there was someone on course, they could continue. And that was the same with the pairs and the team as well. There was literally, I think after lap 17, there was only one pairs team in, one solo, and one team in as well, bigger than a 3-person team.
Oh, God. Alan, we completely got it wrong. The longest distance, 101 yards by merging gears during the 2022 Backyard Ultra World Team Championships at their team's home course in Belgium.
Oh, my. Well, I'm miles off. You see.
Oh, this is interesting, Alan. It was Mergin and Ivor Steyart who got 101. They did not continue to attempt a 102nd lap. So technically, the race didn't have a winner.
So does that mean that it's not really a world record then?
Not sure. The previous world record was also Mergin Gates with a 90 yards at the Race of Champions Backyard Masters.
Wow. So it went proper, didn't it? From when John and Matt did it, then it must have gone quite big very quickly from then.
And we used to talk about it a lot on the show because it did seem like one time it was going to be the next big thing, didn't it, within the ultra community? Do you reckon it got too big too fast?
I don't think they've tried to get it big. The Suffolk Backyard is the biggest in the UK. It's very much along the lines of, I want to say, Thunder Run. So people who know Thunder Run and know Equinox, it's along those lines, big party festival atmosphere. They have several start times. So they don't just start on the first lap, depending on where you're graded. You might have to do it in 55 minutes for the first 2 or 3 laps. Because they set you off at different times because that many do it. And then as the day goes on, you go back onto you start hitting the time that you should do. It's that big, Ian. It's such a big event. I think they've got it right. They've marketed it right. I think it's the only one to go to. I think it's the only one to go to as well because it's an automatic qualification for bigs.
No, that makes sense. Of course, there are some other good ones like God's Own Backyard as well, up in your neck of the woods, has got lots of rave reviews, which isn't an automatic qualifier, but I'd say if you want to get into the space, it might not be as intimidating. Maybe that's what I meant by getting too big, in that you'd feel incredibly intimidated going to one of these races thinking, oh, maybe I've got 48 hours in me. Meanwhile, the winner is going several days later.
Yeah, and I think that's the mindset, isn't it? If I went there, I know I would have no chance of getting to 101. You know what I mean? I'm thinking, can I get to 24? Is it a little bit like High Rocks though? That once you've hit that one target, you're then chasing another target and another target and another target. Maybe that's what they're missing. An international leaderboard.
Yeah. Maybe, although it's really cool that everyone who doesn't finish the last lap DNFs, maybe there should be a kind of recognition of how many yards you've done. Yeah,
maybe age groups, things like I don't know. Maybe that's what it needs. If it wants to grow bigger, maybe it needs to diverse slightly. I don't know.
And I definitely think, Alan, that this team thing, because I'm not sure if anyone does a team like you do. I'd be very interested how long a team of 3 could do it if they do it tactically, and 2 of them are running whilst one sleeps.
Yeah, gosh, it could go on forever, couldn't it? I mean, if we're seeing 101 laps done by solo, imagine that. You know what I mean? I can see, I don't know, 10 days, 240 yards be achievable, probably, as a team.
Would be fascinating to watch for. Even a team of 2 would be fascinating to watch, because from a tactical point of view, do you go tag in, tag out, or do you trust your teammate to carry like 8 hours while you have a proper sleep?
Yeah. When at the farmyard, when Oliver and Gemma did it, they just alternate laps and they looked strong. Even when they decided to call it a day, both of them looked very, very strong. They could have gone on for much, much longer. You could see it. None of them were struggling to get back. They just had enough. They'd done 30 laps. They're just fantastic. I've had enough. Thank you very much. It's been a great event. I quit.
I'm trying to be fascinated by it. Unfortunately, there's probably not the commercial interest in it, is there? Because it would be great if we could just afford to put on almost like a 2-week event to just see if anyone could make it.
Yeah. Yeah. But would he want 2 weeks, or would he actually want longer? Because it could go on. This is the thing with these backyards, and I know Suffolk's a little bit expensive to go to, as some of them go. But once you're paying £100 for some of them, if you're doing 12 hours, 24 hours, not so bad. If you do 6 and something happens, you don't feel like you're going to get your money's worth. I wouldn't if I'd done 6 laps and paid £100 for it. I would be a little bit, well, I haven't even completed a marathon, have I? So it's not good. You know what I mean? I want more than that. But if you were paying £100 and you were doing for 24 hours or even 48, it becomes value for money. And this is where the other thing is: how much should people pay for these events? Because as a race director, if you've got an event that goes on for 100 hours, 4 days, how can you account for 4 days? You've got to have, medics, marshals, insurance. Insurance, when you book your insurance, you're booking them for so long. How do you say, well, it's a 4-day event, it's is it a 3-day event? Is it a 5-day event? How long do you book them for?
It's definitely got some teething issues before it goes mainstream, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, but I love them. I love the idea of them. I think they're great. I love the whole idea of people getting personal bests. As I said this on Farmyard Jam, when we recorded some of that, seeing people achieve something they've never achieved before is an absolute amazing sight, and that is what I do it for.
Absolutely, Alan. It just sounds like a fun time, but maybe it's not going to be the next High Rocks quite yet.
No, definitely not the next High Rocks.
Although, Alan, I did get a message. We were talking about the extra mile earlier.
We was.
You asked about obstacles, so I've been doing some research, and unfortunately, there was not an obstacle on the extra mile.
Oh, that's a shame.
But what they did have was a wall which you could sign your name on.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, I like that. Permanent. So that'll go, what, every event, do we think? Or just, I don't know.
Maybe.
That's cool, though.
That is cool because it kind of like gives you a bonus for doing an extra 1.6 kilometers, doesn't it?
Oh, this is what Tough Mudder should be sharing. They should be sharing that wall right now.
They really should. And so, because maybe we do a different Easter egg at each one.
Oh, yeah. So you sign it, something a different one. Oh, that sounds cool.
Maybe like we could do one where we get paint, but you could basically throw it on your hands and put your handprint on a wall.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that handprint
on the wall. Yes, right. It's outside of Tough Mudder. Tough Mudder's been going for years. Can we chat about a race which is going to do its first one in September? We've chatted about it before, but we're making a lot of noise. Diablo Challenge, Alan.
Yes, Diablo Challenge coming up in September. I want to say 24 because I booked it and put it in my diary. Getting them on the podcast in the next couple of weeks, Ian. It's looking good. I do know that the sales are probably not as they want them to be, and that's fair to say. But they are going to be pushing them going forward. That's the whole thing now. Between now and September, big push. And I think there's a competition going off as well at this moment in time, isn't there, Fulham?
I think there's various things going on. I will say, we often talk about this, don't we, Alan, that race directors need to engage. It can't just be a case of come and sign up. No, let's come and sign up. Why don't you sign up? On their page a couple of weeks ago, they said, we need your help. Can you name one of our obstacles? And they gave a description of it.
Oh, I didn't see that, actually. I'd have entered that. What was the description?
It's a vertical cargo net climb onto the top of a container, run or walk across the top, and then step down via rope swinging short planks of wood.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
25th of May, listener, let's see if we can get as many people on that as possible. So this is on their Diablo Challenge UK Facebook page. Head over the 25th of May. You might need to scroll down a bit and comment on it.
I wonder how many comments we can get them. Let's see if we can make them go viral.
Well, it's currently got 4. Let's see if we can double that. Let's try and get 8 on it, and not just you, Alan, posting 8 times. 4
no, because I'm about to put one on now. So let's aim for 10.
Okay, let's aim for 10.
Yeah, and I like that.
do have a competition which closes as you're listening to this. So closes this Friday. If you want to win a free place to 5 lucky people, you need to like and share the Diablo Challenge Facebook group, like and share this post, and tag someone in the comment box that you like to do a challenge with. Thus far, there's no one on that post. So quickly, listener, go and get yourself a free race.
Oh, what do we have to do? Like and share. So I've liked it, Ian. I've shared it. Where am I going to share it? I share it to UKOCR. Yeah. And then everyone can see this. I'm doing this live, Ian, as we're talking right now. So I've shared it. And do say I've got to comment on it.
I think you have to tag someone in. Tag me in. It's easy.
Ian. Look at that. I've even tagged you in it, Ian. And if we win it, we'll take 3 random people with us. Yeah,
if we win it, then absolutely we will take 3 random people. Is it 5 people get it, or does one person get 5 tickets? It's not very clear. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, whatever. We've done it, Ian. We've signed. We've entered the competition. We're in that competition. Yes,
we're now in that competition. Right, moving away from that. Just some High Rocks and Total Fitness. That's a gym fitness racing news. Okay, High Rocks NYC is this coming weekend, and Alan, it's beaten Manchester for one special reason.
You mean it's sold out faster?
No,
it's got 5 laps.
It's got 4.25 laps. It's beaten the Manchester Elite race by 0.25 of a lap.
Oh, I've got to get that board sorted, Irox. Please get that board sorted, is all I'll say to you. Faster.
I actually like this idea of 4 laps because it becomes more like a track meet, doesn't it? Because when you think about it, a regular track is what, 400 meters?
400 meters, yeah.
So I guess that would make it a mile course, wouldn't it, if you did 4 laps and it was 400 meters?
Yeah. So it's a bit
Hyrox, make it up to a mile between each between each workout station, and then do 4 laps of 400 meters.
Make it tougher, Hyrox, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Are you saying it's too easy for you?
No, it's definitely not too easy for me or for you, but bring the grit back to Hyrox. Bring the grit back.
It's never left, but put it back.
Yeah, put some more grit in it. But yeah, Hyrox NYC looks like it's going to be a blast for. They have almost sold out. They might have sold out by the time this comes out. It's a 2-day event, and the ladies' field in particular, Alan, is going to be stacked. So hopefully there's some live streaming and we can watch it.
Do you think because they live streamed the World Championships and we've got a lot of media people covering Hyrox at this moment in time, that we're still going to see it growing for quite a few more years, and it's going to attract people outside of fitness racing? Because I've been told there's a certain triathlete that is a professional triathlete that has now signed up for Hyrox.
It wouldn't surprise me. And we saw this with obstacle racing back in the day as well. You had lots of celebrities who did like One Tough Mudder. The big test will be, will the majority of people who do Hyrox, will it be one and done, like we've happened with Tough Mudder, or to some degree? Or do you think that people will keep coming back to try and beat the time?
I think if you're into fitness, people are going to keep coming back. Tough Mudder is not people who are into fitness. You've got 2 different crowds here. And you've got the Tough Mudder is the people who work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, that want to do something different with their lives at the weekend. And that's how they found Tough Mudder. Let's go and do something really strange, wonderful, hard. And potentially you might get a few people find Hyrox like that. But Hyrox, it's everyone who everyone that I know that knows Hyrox knows how tough it is. Knows that, this is a serious test of fitness. It's every muscle in your body, it's working. It's not just, you don't have to run, and you can't skip obstacles. You know what I mean? We know people at Tough Mudder skip obstacles, but it's compulsory to complete them.
That's true. What about Spartan?
Did Spartan get fun runners?
I guess to some degree it did, but not as many.
No. Different kettle of fish, isn't it? It's competitive.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. But Spartan did have the one and done crowd as well, didn't it? It's a fascinating thing. we mentioned this about Backyard Ultra earlier. Could High Rocks end up with a similar situation whereby the times get so quick that it does put off people?
I think it could, but High Rocks have got that many divisions. I don't think it will, because you've got pro division, you've got elite division, you've got pro division, you've got the open division, you've got different age categories over them all. You know, you've got relays. You know, I think they're offering enough to keep people interested.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think High Rocks will likely be tested over the next couple of years. The first big test in the UK, which I can't see happening right now, would be the first event that doesn't sell out. At the moment, it's the hottest ticket in town. Birmingham, as we're recording this, is still 4 months away, and you can't get a ticket for love nor money.
Yeah.
Dublin's the same, as is London. So that's a test. Another test will be when the early adopters, when things change. I think this goes hand in hand with what I was just talking about. A lot of the early adopters are great athletes, correct?
Yeah, very much so.
What happens when the next level athlete comes in and qualifying for Worlds or a podium becomes that much harder?
It's always going to get harder. In any sport, it gets harder. But eventually we'll hit a ceiling. You know, we've got Hunter McIntyre and Lauren at minute, and, you know, world champions. Could they have gone faster at Manchester? Maybe they could have had someone maybe pushing them a little bit harder. Both of them, you know, Lauren got pushed quite hard. Hunter didn't really get pushed. In my eyes, as I was watching the race, I think they could have potentially gone faster. If we get another 1 or 2 top quality athletes participating, and I don't want to take this away from any of the Elite 15 when I say this, but, you know, if we get some more top quality athletes, that Elite 15 is going to be narrowed down a little bit. You know, we're going to lose a few people, and that's sad to see, but they're going to have to train a little bit harder. Not everyone trains full time for High Rocks. You know, let's just take Tom Hogan, for instance. Absolutely amazing athlete, absolutely brilliant, but he's not a full-time athlete. He's got a full-time job, the man.
He's 3 full-time jobs, and he's a full-time father and everything else. So yeah, that's true. We'll probably see more of a professionalism creep into High Rocks. And to be fair, Tom's a bad example, because Tom, unfortunately, has already said this year was his famous last words, and we'll see whether that happens. But yeah, you are right. The current Elite 15 are going to have to train a lot harder just to stand still.
So, I mean, you interviewed Rebecca and Graham, the top 2 British finishers in the World Champs. What do they do for a living? I'm sure you asked them the question.
They're both PTs.
Okay, so they're both PTs, but they're not full-time athletes. They actually have a job where they have got to teach people PT, but that doesn't mean that they're actually doing it themselves while they're teaching people, does it?
No, but I do think that PTs probably want to be more friendly to High Rocks training that you can get. And I guess it's not even about the Elite 15. I'm thinking more heading into the age groups when, like, say, some of the amazing athletes we have now, we saw this in OCR, that if a fast runner turned up to a Spartan, he could win it without doing any obstacles, just by burping out. Yeah.
Which didn't that happen in somewhere in, was it Brazil or Venezuela or something like that?
I'm not sure. I'm very sure that Viola Oberlander, who is a great athlete in High Rocks, I'm fairly sure she won hers by doing something like 210 burpees.
Yes, she did. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, which goes to show, doesn't it, when you get you get such high quality athletes that dominate it.
Exactly. So it'll be fascinating to see how it grows. And I do hope that anyone who's currently listening to this, who is an early adopter, who is a fine athlete, maybe thinks, you know what, I need to keep getting better to stand still. Because as the years go on, I think you're going to need, particularly in the competitive 30 up to maybe 45, I reckon most of the age group men are going to have to start doing sub-60s to get anywhere near to a podium.
I think anyone's going to have to start doing sub-60s now, because the bar's getting higher. Like you say, we're going to get more and more people training for it and training full-time.
Yeah. Can I just talk quickly, Alan? I know we're kind of running out of time, which is ironic. I thought this was going to be a short show today, but as always happens, We run a bit late. I got a review of High Rocks Rimini from Katie Twig. Can I read it out?
You can read it out. Yes, I don't mind that.
Well, thanks, Katie, for this. Ease of getting to, it was medium. Best value direct flights were Ryanair from Stansted Friday to Monday. Very expensive, difficult any other days. So Rimini is, I want to say, on the east coast of Italy. It's not the first place you think of, but apparently it's fabulous with lovely beaches. So it's the Blackpool of Italy, but I don't think it would appreciate the comparison. Maybe it's the Bridlington.
The Bridlington. Not even the Bridlington. No.
That fair bit. Transfer from the airport, we still stayed well outside the centre and walked 20 minutes to our hotel. Taxis were difficult, apparently, and a bus took 3 times as long. Transport to venue, taxis non-existent, but we caught a bus. Venue, however, was really nice. Lots of facilities, had aircon, but of course you were hot when you're racing. The festival was including ticket price, and it was good with lots of freebies being given. You couldn't buy food direct from anyone, though. You had to buy a wristband, then scan it. So almost like a scan up your card type deal. It's almost like getting Mickey Mouse dollars at Disneyland. Yeah. No information on this at all, and struggled to find English speakers. That's a shame. It's a shame. Bag drop and reg was super easy. Got given protein spread, which had chocolate in it. Changing rooms available, and the toilets were really close. Course was good. Entry to ski was similar to a row in Glasgow, so it was kind of like away from most of the workout stations, and there were a few near misses running back through. The rock zone was long and wide. Medic station next to the water table, which was really good to see. I love having visible medics. I don't know about you, Alan. It's just nice to see visible medics.
Always. When I go to an OCR and I see visible medics, it makes me feel comfortable.
It does. It just gives you that peace of mind. The heat, even though the aircon was apparently worse than Malaga, and a few people sadly DNF because of it, but you did have option of Red Bull water and Food Springs hydration at the water stove. So well done to High Rocks Italia for adding an additional hydration drink, because some people don't take Red Bull. So well done, High Rocks. Volunteers were great. Lots of first timers by feel of it, which is what you would. So judging standards could vary, which it happens. Overall, she says that the only thing that let it down was like the public transport. And I don't think that's really in High Rocks' control, isn't it? It's just poor luck.
That's wherever you go, a country can have poor transport. Definitely not High Rocks' fault.
She does say in hindsight, you should have got an electric bike. So maybe electric bikes is the way to go. And Rimini Town Centre was really nice with lovely beaches and plenty of amenities and shops. See, just like Blackpool.
Just like Blackpool. Rimini, just like Blackpool.
Just like Blackpool. Right, Alan, a couple last things on fitness racing. Well, one last thing. New Decker affiliate, they seem to be coming out each week. Soon we're going to have to stop announcing them because we'll have so many. But Tri Fitness Health Centre in Olney, which is near Milton Keynes. So we're getting further down south, further towards London. So good luck to Tri Fitness Health. And Alan, I think we should end. Maybe, I know we've got some things on it, but we can move forward. I think we should end with Euros.
Well, we can't end with Euros because I've got an update, because before we jumped on this, and I've put it on the top and we've completely missed it, I've put TW update. Meaning Total Warrior updates. I got off the phone with Stuart, who is the race director of Total Warrior up in Leeds. That's coming up on, I want to say the 1st of July. Not check my dates on that. The 1st of July, I think it is, UKOCR series race along with British Obstacle Sports. Update is as follows. The race is going to be going ahead. There will be mandatory obstacles. Wave 1 is full. However, if you want to race in the UKOCR series in Wave 1, sign up for any wave and email me at admin@ukocr.com with your registration details, and we will get you into Wave 1. That's the update.
Perfect, Alan. So that's admin@ukocr.com, providing you've signed up first.
They've got to have signed up first. If they haven't signed up and they're not members of British Obstacle Sports, I can't get them in that first wave. So that's the 2 criteria. Sign up for any wave and then message me and tell me you're a member and put your British Obstacle Sports number down there as well, so I can check it with James. And if that's all right, we'll get you in the first wave.
Alan. Right, let's quickly talk about Euros. The big thing I'm going to say is we're not going to cover a lot of it. Listen to Who's Hot, because Will and the team did an excellent episode as always.
Absolutely amazing. I've actually listened to it this morning, and I mean listen to it as in all the way through, because as I've told you, when I edit in, I don't listen to every word, but I was on a run this morning. I listened to it all the way through. They had me laughing quite often. Motorbikes, how to ride motorbikes and things like that, which people need to listen, because it was strange but funny.
Yeah, I loved it. So well done to Will and the team. What I will say, Alan, is we've got the start list. Unfortunately, it doesn't actually say countries. I was going to give shout out to all of the Team UK competitors, and I feel bad because it's not in alphabetical order. It's not in country order. It's literally a list of people. I've seen some names that I recognise. Fergal's doing it. Karen Macquarie's doing it. Please don't get upset if I've not called out your name. I think Libby's doing it.
Yeah, Libby's out there. Yeah. There's a lot of friends of the show. We could name everyone, Ian, and I mean, you've mentioned a few people there. I'm not going to mention anyone. Just everyone who's going out, please give it your best shot. I did say it on Monday's podcast. Give it your best shot. Don't leave anything on the course.
Oh, our good friend from who was the team that was going around the Farmyard Jam? Farmyard Jam's getting more references today than a Will Chung.
Tom
Jaroslaw?
Yeah, Jaroslaw will be going. I would imagine that a big Squadron 303 is going out there. Thomas
is going, yep. And there are, you know what's actually lovely to see, Alan? There's 34 pages.
Yeah, big race. Can I mention something about Hungary, and not about the races, but something that when I listened to Who's Hot that made me very, very, it made me sit up. Although I run, it made me sit up and listen. And it was Becky that mentioned that the 100-meter course is the same at every event. Now, that means that if we wanted to get OCR into the Olympics, it's already part of the way there in terms there's a course already built. And apparently Becky says they actually have it in some European countries permanently built for people to test on.
So the 100-meter course that people are doing, I did hear this, is almost similar to a high rocks type thing in that you could practice the movement.
Yeah. Yes, you can go to obstacle gyms over in Europe and actually practice that 100-meter course because they set it up at training venues.
It's super cool. That is really, really cool.
Way forward, isn't it? That's the way forward.
It really is. And we probably should get the word out to a lot, because we do have a lot of friends of the show who have their own 100-meter course. And is it similar to the one that was down for the tryouts? Did we use the same type of course?
No, there was a couple of obstacles similar to it, but it wasn't the same course. But it wouldn't be great if someone actually just replicated it, because that is the course. That is the European course. Maybe it needs that course at the Worlds as well. So the Worlds need to then mimic it as well. And if every 100-meter OCR course was exactly the same, what a massive push that would take it to potential global domination and put the pressure on pentathlons. Not pressure on pentathletes, but pressure on the Pentathlete Association to have this in their course, their 100-meter course, because the pentathletes can then go to the gyms and practice on it.
That'd be perfect, Alan. British Obstacle Sports, we're throwing that ball into your court. We're not going to do any of the hard work here. We're going to throw it to you and say, good luck, and we'll take all the credit when it happens.
Yeah, we just to come up with ideas here. We're just the ideas people.
We are. Well, the last idea we came up with ended up with a massive party in the south of England. What a great idea that was.
It was. And we need to sort that out again, live on show. You can't talk about it now, but we need to sort that out now going forward. We've got 6 months away.
Gosh, it really is, isn't it? We're in June.
Yes. Yes.
God. Right. And on that, Alan, is there any more for any more?
Nothing from me.
Right. On that, listener, it's a goodbye from me.
And it's a goodbye from me, everyone. You all take care. Smash it out in Hungary. And we love you all. Speak to you later. Bye.